sports fans? No, not sports
fans. No, not sports fans.
Hello out there, you faithful listeners and viewers. This is Rebel Rock Radio, and we're back after a week hiatus with episode number 180. And I am one half of your host, Team Steve, and with me, as always, is JD. How's it going?
I'm here, man. I'm usually a fan of summer, but I'm anxious for fall this year for some reason.
It's freaking hot.
It's been hot, muggy, and these storms. I'm had it up to my eyeball with storms.
So, who do we got in the chat so far? We've got Matthew. Was here bright and early.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Derek Albertson. How's it going, Albert? Or Derek? And we
Big Red,
the CEO of Star Wars Non-Toxic Alliance. Hello, sir.
Greetings.
So, as I said, this is number 180, getting closer to that 200. And tonight we are going to be continuing our Spirit of Star Wars series with some more discussion about the Jedi.
Yes.
There's some more stuff to talk about Jedi. So we got some Jedi talk that I know JD will enjoy. And, well, we'll both enjoy it, but, you know. Oh, okay. I might Yoda, and I went generic, and
yeah. See, I went Yoda. I went Anaheim 2022, and you went generic.
I just went us, yeah.
I went Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. So
yeah, you go. I should have worn my Celebration Chicago. Oh well. we need to coordinate on those things. So we got some Jedi talk. We do have some show and tell.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, we have some tunes that we're going to start off with. And let's see. It's been a while since I queued these up because, you know, we've been gone for...
Unfortunately, we had to take a 2-week hiatus, or we had to take a 2-week hiatus because...
Well, we weren't gone for 2 weeks. We were just gone for 1 week. It's just
well, whatever. How you want to define it.
Yeah.
But somebody had to go and get COVID.
Well, you know, wasn't my choice. All right. So this one comes to us from Boston. The band is called Massive Nightmares, and they have an album, self-titled album, coming out on September 6th. And we have a song from that self-titled album. So here is Massive Nightmares with their song, Back to the Beach.
Rough when I need to the Lord.
That was Massive Nightmares with Back to the Beach.
I like that one. I dig that one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I dig that one.
We've got some more interesting stuff coming up for you
Nice.
later. So here we are, 2 weeks later. Do you remember what we were going to talk about? Yeah, we're gonna talk some more Jedi.
No, we're going to talk some more, dude. Today's topic is Path of the Jedi.
Path of the Jedi.
Path of the Jedi. Last week,
Depending on where we end tonight, we might either be talking about the Sith next week, or we might still be talking about the Jedi.
Probably going to wrap that one up with the third part, because that one probably would be like forms, powers, colors of the lightsaber, things like that.
Yeah, we don't need to get that specific.
Dang it!
We'll see.
But I must. I must. Oh.
So what have you been up to these last couple of weeks?
Oh, let's see. Mother Nature decided to wreak havoc on us again a couple times.
Okay.
I really didn't have a weekend because I was too busy playing with that on Sunday. We had a nice little weird pop-up storm came into Wichita. It was one of those things where they said the temperature went from really low to really high in a very short period of time, and it caused these storms to just pop up right over Wichita and then drop and then pop up and drop and pop. And it did that for probably about an hour or two and just tore up some stuff. So I got to work all Sunday.
Awesome.
But I did get a chance to, I don't know if I mentioned this last time on the other show. I don't think I did because I hadn't watched it yet. But I did get to go and see Twisters, a new movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Got to go see Twisters. That was pretty cool. I liked that. That was cool. That was one of those movies, I have to say. Lately, I have been watching like trailers for movies and stuff coming out, and I'm like, I don't really want to go to the movies to see that. But we watched that, and I was pleasantly impressed. I liked it. It was more one of those movies where you just went to the movies, you enjoyed it. There wasn't a whole lot of nonsense and crap. It was just a good story and some good action, and really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the movie. It was a good movie. Wasn't as good as the original, but it was still good. It was really good.
Yeah, me and my wife and youngest went and saw it. I don't remember how long ago it was. Actually, let us consult the letterbox. Letterbox will tell me when I watched it. Or it'll try to pop up cookies. July 20th is when I went to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit behind.
Those two liked it a lot more than I did. So much, in fact, that the youngest actually went back and saw it a second time.
Mm-hmm. I found out some friend of mine had it downloaded on their thing already for digital, so I'm like, I'll watch it again for sure. And the other thing about it too is I actually downloaded the soundtrack from it, and the soundtrack is really good too.
Huh.
Some really good music on the soundtrack.
Yeah, it was all right. I wasn't crazy about it, but I wasn't really crazy about the first one either. So, but a movie that I did see. My timing is all off because I've been sick.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve Spawn in the house. How's it going? Hey, I'm gonna get your stickers out. I just keep forgetting to go to the post office. And
somebody's been indisposed this week.
I just haven't been spending a lot of time outside. But so before all of this mess, there was a movie that came out that I did go see, and that was Alien Romulus.
Oh, I heard that was decent.
That movie was amazing. Yeah, top 5 of the year, definitely. It was good. It was good. If you liked the first 2, chances are you're going to like this one. So this one takes place between 1 and 2.
Oh, no kidding. Now that I did not know.
Not to spoil anything, but there is a very, I don't want to use the word important, a very obvious reference to the first one. It'll make sense once you see it. But yeah, great movie. I would go see it again, but I haven't been going outside that much.
I did not realize that it was a between Alien and Aliens.
Yeah, no.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's between those two. Amazing cast. The casting was great. Action was great. I'm glad they brought back a horror element. There's a very interesting something really interesting happens in the third act.
Without spoilers.
Yes,
because some of us haven't seen it yet.
Yes, it's there's the whole movie's great. The whole movie is great. But the third act is just something happens and you're just like, holy shit. But yeah, everything was great about it. I like how the director kind of gave it a bit of an old-ish look. So it looked like, okay, if the first Alien was made in 2024, this is probably what it would look like. Because it kind of had the same visual aesthetic as the first one, but you could tell it was updated. Yeah, Matthew, that one was bad. That one was bad.
I'm going to be honest with you, Matt. I'm going to be honest with you on that one. I am shocked that Sigourney Weaver actually agreed to that movie.
Probably needed money.
That could be. I mean, they probably paid her a buttload. They probably paid her a boatload of money to go to that movie. Because that movie, I mean, they tried. I'll give them that. But that's all I'm going to give them.
Well, usually, Matt, I would agree with you on this one. That I wouldn't put much stock in opinions of those particular people. But in this case, she's right.
Hey, you know what, though? With all deference to me, you, and Matt, we are Star Wars people who actually like Star Wars for the most part. We only have a few criticisms about a few of the shows, a few critiques, things like that. There are people out there who probably hate Twilight the same way they hated The Acolyte. And I'm not going to give people crap. If you like Twilight and you love it and you're still a fan person of it in any shape, form, fangirl, fanboy, whatever the case may be, I applaud you, love what you like. I'm not going to go on your websites and I'm not going to go on your fan sites and I'm not going to bitch about it.
Chances are we're not in the same circles.
Yeah, chances are we're not in the same circles. So if you like that kind of stuff, I'm more than happy for you. Like what you like, keep going on with it. I tell this to people all the time. Everybody sees my Star Wars and my Star Wars collections, and I talk about Star Wars.
That is fair.
But you know what, though? I am also a Back to the Future fan, a Lord of the Rings fan, a Harry Potter fan. So, I mean, I could go on and on. So, like what you like.
Yeah. You like your
just don't, huh?
I said you go and like your twinkly vampires.
Yeah, you go and like your twinkly vampires. That's fine. That's okay.
That's fine.
Personally, I'm going to stick to Gary Oldman and that kind of stuff.
He was a good Dracula.
Yeah, he was a very good Dracula.
I liked the Underworld series.
I did too. What was the last one? The War of the Lycans. That one wasn't great.
No. There's been more past that one.
Well, I lost track after like the third one.
No, I've actually seen all of them in the theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't even. I couldn't tell you what was past 3. I watched the
last one that was released was in 2016, and it was called Blood Wars.
Blood Wars. I had no idea.
Yeah, me and my oldest, that was kind of our thing, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah,
I really liked it. I really did like the first two. The first two were pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like the
I mean, Blood Wars was kind of It was still all right. It was still good. I mean,
but then again, I liked Hugh Jackman and Van Helsing too.
In the what?
I liked Van Helsing, the one with Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale. Yeah. See, I liked that one. I thought it was all right. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
A little campy, but I thought it was good.
So if you're just joining us, we were gone last week because I got sick. Thank you to. We won't go there. Yeah, I got sick. It was not pleasant. If you've ever had that that virus, I feel for you. It is awful.
I never got it.
I mean, I never got it when it was like really, rampant and
really big. Yeah.
Really huge. And of course I got the vaccine too, but now there's all the variants.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not pleasant. I'm still not 100%. I'm upright, so there's that.
You got to take your win. You got to take your wins when you can.
Yeah, you really can. I mean, mostly right now I've got like a lot of like residual congestion and just a feeling of blah. Yeah, but compared to a week ago today, much better. week ago today, I was rough. It was a rough week last week. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. So yeah, I saw Alien. What else did I did I did like over the weekend, I did like a binge of all of the X-Men movies. Not including the Wolverine or Deadpool movies, just like the X-Men Prime, I guess you want to call them. I watched all of them. I even watched the horrible Dark Phoenix movie. Just because I wanted to complete. Oh wait, I did not watch New Mutants. And only because I was like, okay, I'm done for the weekend. Basically.
How much? Okay, but my question is, because I have not seen New Mutants, how much does New Mutants actually affect like X-Men, the Fox X-Men universe?
It does not.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
It could be its own universe.
Okay.
But I don't know if it is or I've never done a whole lot of research on it. Same here, Matt. Next one we're waiting on is Beetlejuice.
Yes, Beetlejuice. Yes.
Yeah.
I would not. I think I might go to AMC to see that, or not AMC. Is it AMC?
You go to that AMC that you and I went to.
Yeah. AMC. Yeah. That was a nice one.
It would have had to have been AMC because that was the one I had the app for.
That's right. Yeah, I really want to see that. I really love the original. Original was just funny. It was good stuff. So yeah, I'm really anxious to see the sequel to see if it lives up. Now I have not seen it yet. So for you in the 90s pop culture era people, the one that I probably won't go see that came out. I don't know if anybody's seen it yet. You'll have to let me know what you thought of it if you did go see it. The new Crow movie.
I've seen the trailer. That's all I want to see of it.
It looks horrible.
Yep. You've seen the original.
I've
right?
seen the. I've seen. Oh, I have the original. Like I have like copies of the original. Like it was one of my favorite movies in the 90s. Was The Crow?
They just did a theatrical re-release just a few months ago.
Yeah, and I missed it, but I wish I would have been able to go, but I did not get a chance to go see it.
I went and saw that, but
the original Crow. The original Crow was just in the 90s. Yeah. I loved the original Crow, and the soundtrack was crazy. The soundtrack was great. and the whole story behind Brandon Lee's tragedy and all of the cult classic stuff that came in from it, from all the people that knew about it. And then some of the sequels were okay, but they weren't great. I watched City of Angels. I watched, I think, one more of them, and then after that, I kind of quit because it got.
Steve has chimed in on that one.
I have seen it and save your money. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. I kind of assumed that was the case because after I saw the trailer,
I thought about it for like a brief second, and I was like, no, I saw the trailer. I didn't like it.
Right. So
okay. So Matthew also has some reference on that. Has friends that went and seen it. They said it was bad. Okay. So that's
two downvotes.
That's at least 3 people.
Because see, when the comic came out, I own the comic, the original comic.
Yeah.
And then I also own the graphic novel. And I've read it all the way through and several times, and then I watched the original, and I have books like fan books of it, like some of my Star Wars books. I have books hidden aside of it that I've kind of kept back that I haven't been able to display, I haven't been able to put out, but I have them sitting back. And I read the original comic, and when I saw the new trailer, I went, that looks nothing like the comic. I mean, even for all intents and purposes, the original movie didn't look like it, but it at least kept some of the source material up to date.
Yeah.
This new one did not look anything like it.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
And the fact that they used the original Eric Draven and Shelley Webster in it, I was disappointed because I was like, you got to be kidding me. They used the original character. They should have made them 2 completely different characters and made a different storyline.
Completely different characters, definitely.
Yeah, if it had been a different character, different storylines, it probably would have been better received. And the fact that they didn't do that, and then they put in, because I'm sorry, I like Stellan Skarsgård. Or is it Stellan Skarsgård?
I have no idea.
Damn. Okay, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot on that one. Hang on. It's the guy that played It.
See, I never saw that. I'm not. There are very few horror franchises that I will bother going to see, I guess. I don't know.
Bill Skarsgård, excuse me. Okay. Bill Skarsgård is his name. See,
I
like him.
Other than that?
Yeah, he was in John Wick Part 4. He was in both the. He was in both the.
Wait a minute. He was the main.
He was the main villain. Yeah, he was the main villain. And
okay.
Yep. And then he played It in both the both the It movies. And I think he's been in a couple other movies. And I have liked what he's done. I liked It. It was we're both very good movies.
I'm looking at his filmography here. Oh, he was in must have not been a very big role. He was in Atomic Blonde.
Oh, yeah. See, I never saw that one.
It was oh man, it had Charlize Theron in it.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And dude that plays Professor X in the new X-Men movies.
Okay.
James yeah, and okay. It says he was in the Divergent series too. I didn't watch any of those. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any desire to see the new Crow. Okay, Matthew's got a question for us.
Okay.
What's your favorite non-Batman or Beetlejuice Keaton movie? Man. Off the top of my head, just thinking about it on the top of my head, I got to say Mr. Mom, but there's got to be something else out there that I like more than that.
Wow. I actually have 2. The Dream Team and Gung Ho.
I think I've seen Gung Ho, but I don't remember much about it. He did a movie. Oh man, there was a movie he did. Gosh dang it, I'm gonna have to look up his filmography because he played a bad guy. Kinda. He was a prisoner. Desperate Measures.
Mm.
That was good. No,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to stand. I think I'm going to stay.
Oh, actually, no. Actually, no. It's a three-way tie. Pacific Heights. He was a bad guy in a movie called Pacific Heights.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, it's a thriller.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stick with Mr. Mom. Mr. Mom is probably my favorite. Johnny Dangerously was pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of
Mr. Mom was good. I like Dream Team. Multiplicity wasn't bad.
I got to go with Mr. Mom.
Mm-hmm.
So one other thing that I did this weekend, I had been talking about wanting to play Star Wars: The Old Republic, that online game, but I don't have a PC. I work off a Mac, and it won't work on a Mac unless you run an emulator, and I'm not doing that to my Mac. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to find me a cheap laptop, and I did a bunch of searching. Like, all I need is something just good enough to run that game. I don't need it for anything else. So I found something on Friday, and I went and bought it. And it was at this kind of a store, but not really a store, just like this guy that has a building and has employees, but they're not like a commercially, I'm not sure how they describe what they are. They don't like advertise themselves. I found them through Facebook Marketplace. Anyway, I went and got it, and then so I played a lot of Star Wars: The Old Republic this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, good stuff.
I actually, if I was gonna buy a PC just to replay a game, I would download and play Star Wars Galaxies. It was
Is that available on Windows?
Yes, it is a MMO. Is a MMO that came out in 2000 and oh crap! I know I'm gonna.
Is it still available?
Okay, so what it is that all official servers were shut down in 2012 or something like that. But it's a massively multiplayer online game, and what people have done is they actually bought the rights to it from one of the things, and they well, no, they might not have bought the rights to it. What they did was they took the core game, and they redid it, and they put it on some servers privately, and now you can download the game and you can play the game online. It just, before you had to pay for it. Now you can do it for free, and it's just the core game.
I'm reading some information about it. It looks like they're running it off of some sort of emulators.
But it was for Windows PC though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just stick with the Old Republic. That's really fun,
yeah, it came out in 2003. Came out in 2003. Let's see here. Galaxy blah, 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 blah. Game ran from 2003. So it shut down in 2011. It was developed by Sony Online Entertainment. It was published by LucasArts at the time. And like I said, it's a massively multiplayer online game. But there's people who have resurrected it, and now you can play it on their servers for free through the original game.
That's cool.
But it was a really awesome game at the time. I loved to play it, and I'd love, if I could, I would probably put it on a PC and try to play it again.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of fun.
Oh man. All right, so that was our week.
One more thing for the week.
Oh,
I have a PSA, and I'm kind of drinking it.
Uh-oh.
For all of you fans of fall and cooler weather and things of fall, most of your coffee shops and places have officially launched their fall pumpkin-flavored drinks of choice. Mine happens to be Sam Adams Jacko Pumpkin Spice Beer. You can hate me if you want to. I don't care.
No, why would I hate you because you like beer?
I like pumpkin spiced beer. Sue me.
What was I getting ready to say? Squirrel.
Oh, wait.
YouTube. Yes. If you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're not, go over to YouTube, subscribe there, smash that like button, leave a comment if you would. But subscribe and like are the two most important things. We really need to get those likes pushed up there, and we got past our 200, so now we're on the road to 300. And
Hey, there's Tina.
Hey, Tina. What's up?
Yeah. Yes, Matthew, pumpkin spice season is upon us.
That is right.
And it's a glorious thing.
Shit,
Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Don't hate me for my weird vices.
Lost my track. I was going to say, so we're at 180, so we have 20 more until we get 200. So what are the chances we can get to at least 250 by the time we hit episode 200?
We're not asking for a whole lot.
We're not asking for a lot. We're already
We're not asking for a lot. We're already 212. What's, a few more people. Come on.
Tell your friends and neighbors.
Tell your friends and neighbors. Tell them we have weird music you've never heard of, and squirrels and
and weirdos. Old white nerds. So while you're telling them to go subscribe to our YouTube, you can also tell them about our Patreon. Where?
So you remember that pumpkin spice I talked about? The pumpkin spice beer, the pumpkin spice coffee, the pumpkin rolls, the pumpkin muffins, the pumpkin this, the pumpkin that. For less than what you would pay for those things, people, you could become a Patreon.
Yes.
Of the Squirrel Chaos channel. I mean, Rebel Rock Radio channel.
You can be a part of Squirrel Mode for only $2 a month. You get bonus content, which is there.
And we're going to make more.
And we will make more. We probably would have made more had I not been sick.
Yes.
Because we had some ideas rolling around in there. So you get that. And when you first sign up, you get stickers. Yes, stickers, plural. And in addition to that, if that's not enough, you get your name mentioned on this show right here.
And it's not a squirrel thing either. We actually mentioned you on purpose.
Yeah, we mentioned you on purpose.
So we're not going to be it's not part of the drinking game.
We should do that. We just start randomly inserting people's names.
Yeah, we insert a name. Drink.
This portion of the show is brought to you by
this cheers is brought to you by.
Yes.
Between that and Squirrel Mode, we're going to have some seriously messed up people on a Tuesday night by the time this is over with.
I'm okay with that. That is a chance that I am willing to take.
Yeah, I will sacrifice myself for you people.
I will sacrifice our listeners' sobriety and yours.
I will sacrifice my own sobriety and sanity for $2 a month. I'm cheaper than OnlyFans. I mean, how can you beat it?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just not going to show you my. I'm just not going to show you my butt. That's the only difference.
I mean,
no.
Nah.
I mean, no.
No. That's how we can advertise ourselves.
We want patrons and followers. We don't want to scare people away.
OnlyFans. It's just a couple of nerds talking about Star Wars. So,
only Star Wars fans.
Breaking news. We're only 98 days until the Skeleton Crew drops.
Yes.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Patrons.
Patrons. All right. So, for those of you that are already part of Squirrel Mode, here we go. Here are your names. We're going to shout them out for you. We have Dave Brown, Kelly and Chris, a.k.a. Luna Girl and Dragon Buddy, Justin Hensley, Charlie Kirby, Chantel, Matthew, who is in the chat with us.
Matthew.
And Steve, who is in the chat with us. He is our newest and greatest. Well, okay, maybe not greatest. I don't want to give him a big head.
They're all great. I mean,
they're all great. They're all
great.
They're all equal levels of great.
They're all equal levels of greatness. You're all on the same plane.
They're all on the same plane because they all pay the same amount of money.
And we all on this show may have to drink more because of you people. I'm just saying.
That's usually my fault. Yeah, and with my head not 100%, there may be a lot of drinking going on tonight. So anyway, yeah.
Yes.
Those
Hey,
are
how you doing?
Thank you very much for helping us sustain our goofiness here. And with that in mind, we got another song. We
got another song we got to play.
We have another song because we still have a show and tell to do. We're never going to get to our main topic with this.
Oh, we will. We'll get there. We'll get there. I will not allow it to go away.
Well, it just means we'll have to talk about it again next week.
That's true.
Anyway, so this next tune comes to us from Austin, Texas. And wait a minute. I think I've got two bands from Austin, Texas today. Anyway, so this first one from Austin, Texas, they are called the Dumpies.
Nice.
Love that name. And if you think the name is great, the name of the band, the album that they have coming out on October 18th. How did I get this so quickly? So ahead of. Oh, well, I'm not going to question it. Okay. So October 18th, they have an album coming out called Gay Boredom.
Oh, I got to hear this.
Oh, that's great. And so we are going to play a song from that album. So here are the Dumpies with Locked Groove.
When you get it, you regret it, you regret it. Stuck in a locker, stuck in a lock room. Stuck in a locker, stuck in a lock room. Stuck in a locker, stuck in a lock room. Stuck in a locker, stuck in a lock room. Stuck in a locker, stuck in a lock room. Stuck in a locker, stuck in a lock room. Never gonna move. Stuck in a locker, stuck in a lock room. Stay away. Stuck in a locker, stuck in a lock room. Never gonna move. Stuck in a locker, stuck in a lock room. Stay away. Stuck in a locker, stuck in a lock room. Never gonna move.
Okay, that ending was a little odd.
Was that Sea Lions?
I think so, maybe. So an update on this band. So the band was formed in Austin, Texas, but they currently live in Astoria, Oregon. So interesting. So interesting stuff. They sound like somebody else that I can't quite place my finger on, but they sound very familiar. I know it's not them. It's just there's another band that they take heavy influence from, obviously. All right. You know what time it is now, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Time for show and tell time. That video's too long. Okay. So
Also known as I have something cool that I want to share with you, and it's a toy. But I don't call it a toy.
It's not always going to be a toy. Sometimes we show books.
Sometimes we do show books. Speaking of books,
You have books?
I have an extra book that I will show you later. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You want to go back and forth on these? Because I've got several.
I've got I have mainly one. So
Okay.
you show two, I'll show my last one, and then I got a runner up.
Okay. Well, the first two are, all three of them are kind of related, but the first two are more so related.
Right.
So the first one is my brand new Black Series Saga.
Oh, very nice.
Saw Gerrera.
Very nice.
Very cool.
That's not
And,
coming out of the package.
Last time we met, I had showed my Black Series Dr. Aphra.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the first one. The second one is my Black Series Cassian Andor.
Ah, no wonder you said they were related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have now, those guys, and I've got another one to show you, and then we'll wait until. So the third one is the one that I've already shown you.
Okay.
So you might remember it. Like right now, you may not remember it, but when I show you, you're going to remember.
I'm going to remember it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome. And by the way, Steve, welcome to the black hole that is the Black Series of collecting.
Yeah, I have. I still have single digits.
Yeah, I wish I could say that. Not.
I just got to figure out what I'm going to do with them. I think what I'm going to do is, definitely going to stay in the box.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to put them on this wall right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get rid of that clock that doesn't work and just kind of put them on the wall.
Nice.
All right, what's yours?
I got to take mine out of the box as soon as I get a chance.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. I have to do it. I have to do it. It's a must. I have to do it. You must do it. You must always do it. At least for these, I must always do it. So, as everybody knows, I've kind of remanded myself to like lightsabers, helmets, things like that, the bigger stuff, the more rare stuff. So I'm going to throw this out of the box, and maybe Steve can reveal his last third thing while I'm doing this. Maybe while I'm taking it out of the box.
Maybe.
But I have for everyone the Black Series Sabine Wren one scale helmet that I will take out of the box. Yeah, so let me get. See if I
Okay,
can
you
get
have
it.
my permission to take that one out of the box.
Oh, gee, thanks.
That's right.
Let's see here.
So
Go
while
ahead.
he's
I
unboxing
gotta unravel this one.
So while he is doing that, I am going to show you my third. And it is another Black Series. Wait a minute. Yeah, it is Black Series. And it is
Oh yeah,
Darth Revan.
I do remember us talking about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pretty cool. Found that dude on eBay.
Uh-huh.
So that brings me up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 Black Series.
You can't stop there.
Well, no, I can't.
So funny. So you'll like this, Steve. I didn't tell you about this, but I'll tell you about it when it comes in because it's going to be quite some time before it comes in. But I'll tell you about it now because it's a funny thing. I got a notification the other day. So the Sideshow collectibles, which is something I've gotten into a little bit, but I'm still being selective about those because I don't have enough room for them. Yeah, those are expensive. Yeah. I got a notification the other day that my Obi-Wan that I've been waiting for to finish my diamond effect diorama that I want to do for people is actually delayed. It may not be here till sometime in September. Yeah. I found out, but you'll like this, Steve. So it has to do with your Revan character. They actually came out with a Sideshow collectibles full scale size, or not full scale size, but a decent size one. I can't remember what size it is, but it's a Sideshow exclusive Darth Revan where both the lightsabers light up. So it's similar to the ones that I have down here that I've showed you in the past. The funny part of it is I ordered it and they said it wouldn't be here till I think October, November of next year. I got a funny email that said, oh, it'll actually be here in July of next year.
Oh.
But I've already bought and paid for it. All right.
Tina has a question. Let me.
Oh, check that out.
Are the Black Series back to see through front packaging?
Yes.
I mean, this
Yeah,
one here, this one you can see through clearly. That is the figure.
Yeah. So yes, Tina, they went to plastic and caseless ones there for a while, but like the one Steve had, the Andor one was what they were doing, but they're back to doing
The
like the Saw
Andor-
Gerrera now.
The Andor is not see through, and you just have to look at them from here.
Yep.
And
So here you go, people. I gotta take my glasses off. I think it's a little small for my
I
head.
think it's a little small for your head, man.
I think it's a little small.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. A little bit. But anyway, there you go, people. The Black Series Sabine Red helmet.
Sabine
Very
Red.
nice.
Cool. Yeah.
Yes, I like it.
A group rewatch of Rebels. I don't know if you could keep up with the way I watch TV. I don't. An episode or two a week. Yeah, no. See, we have to have the entire series watched before October, because October is our 10th anniversary Rebels retrospective month.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we have to have all of those watched by October, and only watching an episode or two a week that would not cut it.
How many episodes were there? Let's see. How many episodes were there per year?
There were 4 seasons. So let's see. Let's pull up the handy dandy Wikipedia. There were 75 episodes
altogether.
Altogether, yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
that's a lot of watching. CEO Star Wars Non-Toxic Alliance says, I got a Black Series Darth Vader from my birthday, October 3rd. Which one did you get? Which Darth Vader Black Series? Did you get the helmet? Did you get one of the figures? Which one did you get? There's been a lot of them.
Yeah, I want to get a Black Series Darth Vader figure, but I also want to get a Black Series Anakin. With that one, I'm kind of watching the price.
I got they didn't release them until later, and these are actually newer ones. I think not this year, but maybe the end of last year. I'm not quite sure. But they did release a young Anakin and young Padme from episode 1 that I got earlier this year. And I did pick those up because I really did like those, and I hadn't seen them before. So I did pick them up in the new packaging, which was cool. So, and that's the other thing too, is I don't like to pick up a lot of like what they call repaints, which is basically they take old characters that they've already done and they touch up the paint, make it a little better, and then they put them into new boxes. But it's basically the same figures that you had before. So I really don't like to do a whole lot of those. I usually try to go for stuff that I don't already have, like newer stuff. So yeah.
So Matt is asking us to name how many you want to watch per week. See, I don't do things that way, though. I mean, I can tell you how many you should watch per week, but the way I watch TV, I could probably have like 2 seasons done in a weekend. Like when I sit down to watch TV, I watch a lot of TV. Like I will just binge through something. Like I was just saying, this past weekend, I watched all of the X-Men movies, except for New Mutants.
Now, see, I won't be busy this weekend because unfortunately I have standby for work.
Well, September is upon us, so it is time to start watching Rebels. So,
yeah. When are we doing that episode?
In October.
That's fine.
I think we said we're going to do. Oh man, we haven't really nailed down the details. There are let's see what. Well, you're going to be gone on the 29th.
Yeah. Millennium Workshop, hey buddy.
What's that now?
Millennium Workshop's in the
Millennium
chat.
Workshop. So that gives us 3 weeks in October. Oh, wait a minute. No. 1, 2, 3. That still gives us 4 weeks.
Okay.
So 1 week per season.
Yeah. So for anybody who didn't know that we're doing that and they want to do a Rebels watch, you probably better start now. We could do it at the end of October.
Yeah. So October 1st, 8th, 15th, and 22nd.
22nd.
We're going to do a season per week. And then the 29th, we will not have a show because Jenny's going to be in.
Because some of us
get burned like a witch. No.
Because some of us are going to Halloween Central for Halloween this year, and my girlfriend's 40th birthday, and she's a hocus pocus nut, and
I think want to know if you put a bucket next to you for bathroom breaks.
That's what the pause button was invented for at home.
So I don't know if it is the SDCC exclusive, but I did see a Black Series Jyn Erso.
Mm-hmm.
I might get that one. I've got a list of some that I'm just kind of keeping my eye on.
If you have a list, Steve, you need to let me know because I know where to find them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I know where to find them.
I'll send you my list then.
Okay.
One of them that's on my list, and I actually found it on Amazon, strangely enough. It is a Black Series Bastilla Shan. She is a Jedi from Knights of the Old Republic.
Mm-hmm. I think I have that one.
Oh, you know what else I'll show you? Hold that thought. Crap, I left it in the other room. Hang on.
I'll show this to people here real quick. This was my runner-up for you folks here. For anybody who hasn't got a chance, I didn't get a chance to order this one when it came out first, and then Steve reminded me of it. Star Wars Timelines. This is a really good book if you're wanting to do research on the background of Star Wars, when things happened, new information, things like that, older information. There's all kinds of good stuff, and we've been using this book for actually some of our research for our Spirit of Star Wars stuff. We've been using some of these newer ones, these newer books here, and So Timelines. If you get a chance, pick it up, read it, check it out. It's not too bad on Amazon. It's a really good book about background to the Star Wars universe. So
yeah, I own that one. Haven't read it all the way through. There's a lot going on.
There is a lot in there. A lot.
Speaking of a lot going on, another book. So this is a book that I have mentioned maybe a time or two to you, JD. It's been one of those that's like, man, that is too expensive. Because it's out of print. It's an out of print book. And it's like, man, I really want that. And I keep looking back, I've been watching it and I keep looking back at Amazon and I keep looking at eBay and a couple other book sites. And I'm like, nope, just, I can't justify it. Can't justify it. Well,
you justified it.
I did well, it went down considerably. The price went down considerably. Somebody had a copy, and it was within a reasonable monetary unit. And so it's actually like buying this is actually what got me to thinking about playing the Old Republic again. So I recently purchased. I've read this book a couple of times because I
now I know what you're talking about. Now I know what you're talking about.
From the library, like back in the day, I borrowed it from the library, but never wanted. Like it's an expensive book, and even more so now that it's out of print. But it's this big, giant, humongous right here, and it's pretty awesome. It's got lots of really cool. The artwork in it is freaking amazing. Yeah.
Well, for anybody that didn't get a chance, people who don't know about it, I think that book is actually based on the Old Republic video game.
It is
the MMO. Yeah. And if you have not seen any of the trailers or you've not actually seen the game and the gameplay, it's actually the trailers for it were exceptional.
Oh yeah.
If you get a chance and you have not seen them, for anybody in the chat, go and watch the Jedi Knights of the Old Republic MMORPG trailer videos. They are amazing.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those things where you almost look at it and you go, I wish they would make a movie or a show based on the video graphics and everything they used, because it is absolutely amazing. It is amazing.
And on top of that, like, not, the artwork is amazing, but the storylines in the game are just phenomenal. I think I think my favorite one is the Imperial Spy. That's got a really good story. I mean, they all have really cool stories. But yeah, anyway, so yeah,
I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head because I didn't get a chance to play it. But it's the one with the twins, the storyline with the twins. It was Thexon and
oh man.
But anyway, it was that storyline. I watched a little of it. I can't remember the name because I watched a little. I watched the trailers and I watched some of the information on that, and that was cool. That was really neat. And it had to do with a neutral empire that was trying to take over, and I can't remember the exact background because I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen a lot of the gameplay, but I never got a chance to play it because I've never really gotten.
Wasn't it? I didn't get the Eternal Twins.
No, it was called something. It was called some empire, and I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of what it is. I know which one you're talking about.
Republic game.
Okay. We need to play another song.
Archon and Thexon were the two twins, and then they were part of, what was it, the Eternal Empire? Or the Eternal, no, what the hell were they called?
Well, they were part of the Sith Empire.
Oh, they were sons of the Immortal Emperor of the Eternal Empire of Zakul and Sanaya Taral. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Archon and Thexon were the twins. So, yeah. Because I've seen their lightsabers and they're actually out there and I almost bought them.
All right. We have one more song and then we are going to start talking about Jedi.
Yes.
We must get there.
We must.
Okay. This band, this one is from Austin, Texas. They are called Mugger, Mugger. And they put out an album on August 10th called Get a Clue. And that was released by Quiet Panic Records. And we are playing the title track from that. So here is Get a Clue by Mugger. JD, you might not like this one.
Okay.
Just warning you.
Okay. All right.
Alrighty, that was Mugger with Get a Clue. I liked it. But
Steve, if I said what the hell, would you find it offensive?
If you said what the hell?
If I said what the hell? I mean, more appropriately, I like to say the F word. Go, what the frick?
That's some good stuff, man.
It makes my head hurt. Because
It's too loud. You're too old.
too loud. It's too loud. Yeah, no shit.
That doesn't make any sense at all. I'm older than you are. All right. Time for some Jedi. We're going to talk about the Jedi Path. I thought we would start with, and dang it, I should have downloaded a picture. I probably could real quick. Hang on.
If it is what I think it is, I have it. I don't have the picture, but I have it right here. I have something I wanted to start off with. So.
Let me find it. Let me find a good. Here, this one will work. Got to find one that's decent enough to where you can actually see it. Oh no! I like that one better. Okay. I like this one better.
Give it back to me, you son of a...
Okay. So
come here.
I thought we would start off with everything a Jedi, one thing that every Jedi should know, and that is the Jedi code.
The code of the Jedi.
Code of the Jedi.
There is no emotion. There is only peace. There is no ignorance. There is knowledge. There is no passion. There is serenity. There is no chaos. There is harmony. No death. Is only the Force. This is the code of the Jedi.
That is the code of the Jedi.
That is the code of the Jedi.
So, if
or otherwise known
about the Jedi, I don't know about you, JD, but okay. So both of us got of our information out of this book,
the Jedi
and
Path.
then I got some of it out of. Yeah, I didn't read too much into that one. I got
that one. You got that one there. Yep. I got this one here.
I do have that one. I just didn't use it. I don't know why.
Well, okay. So I mean, both of these for anybody who tuned in last show a couple weeks ago, when we started talking about like the origins of the Jedi and stuff like that, we made it very clear that this information from this book here is mostly legends. Is all legends material. This all came out before the acquisition of Disney, before the new canon. This is all legends material in these books. This one, however thin that it is, this one here has to deal with more of the new canon and what Disney brings to the table. So, and a disclaimer for those of you who aren't familiar, when we talk about this, and as we've been talking about this, when we talk about the Jedi, when we talk about the Sith and any future parts of the spirit of Star Wars, what we are actually going to include both pieces of information. And we tried to do our best to explain the differences in legends and canon material. Now, as we said last week, as far as the origins of the Jedi were concerned, there wasn't a lot of current canon information because a lot of those stories are in development. But as far as legends material is concerned, there is a plethora of information. My problem last show is that getting all that information square and then trying to sift through all of the pieces of the information, everything about about Tython and the Rakata and the schisms and and everything about the Jedi and where they came from and how they formed and all that kind of stuff. It's just such a plethora of information on the legend side, but nothing on the canon side, current canon side. So, and just as a disclaimer, we're going to include both. We are going to talk about Disney's current Star Wars. There may even be some mentions of stuff about the Acolyte in this show. If you don't like it, go the fuck away. Because I don't care.
I mean, if you don't like it, then fine, don't like it. But
yeah. If you don't like it, don't like it. Don't tell us about it because we're going to include that information. We're going to celebrate those shows. We're going to include those shows in our conversations. And if you don't like it, just go away. Just go away. Go bother other people because we don't care.
I am going to squirrel on purpose here for just a brief moment.
Okay.
Because we didn't talk about it last week because we weren't here. Last week we would have talked about it, I think. And that is the announcement that they have canceled.
I'll let you say it and then I'll correct you.
Okay. Allegedly, they have canceled the show and there will not be a second season. What's the
I
correct?
I will make one correction.
Okay.
So the misconception that people are putting out there, and this is for everybody in our little circle, and spread this to your friends, whatever you like. The show was never officially slotted to have more than one season. That being said, the show is never, quote unquote, canceled. What has allegedly happened, which we have not got any confirmation of, and we may never because that's the way Disney runs things, is that the rumor actually is that the show has not been renewed for a second season, which means they will not be continuing the story. It does not mean that they canceled any future things coming out from the Acolyte, because we are still going to be getting books, probably going to be still getting comics associated with characters from the Acolyte.
Yeah, that would.
So we are going to get backstories. We are going to get continuations. Well, I hope we get continuations. If they're not going to make a show, at the very least, we need a book to finish up where it came from, or to pick up where they left off. And a book, if that's what they want to do, that's fine. I don't care, because a lot of the haters don't read anyway. So for those of us that do read or are trying to get into the reading of it, it's, for those of us who do get into the reading, if they continue it in a book format to finish the story, then I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
And I'm the only thing I'm going to say is CEO put in here, non-toxic, said in their statement, new report, CEO non-Star Wars non-toxic reliance says new reported details of cancellation of the Acolyte. It was canceled due to low viewership. It cost $630,000 per minute of screen time. Viewership went down after the first two episodes. No plans to remove the series from the Disney Plus. So they never announced that they were going to make two seasons. The only thing Leslie Headland said is that she has ideas that could bring mysteries to the small screen that would encompass 2 or 3 up to even 5 more series just like it that they could do. So she was hoping that it would do well, so that they would sign it up for a second season. But all they did was they just didn't renew the contract. If they did what is being rumored, they didn't renew that for a new season. So all that means is that the second season that she might have been hoping for, or everybody might have been hoping for, they just said, we don't think we're going to go with it because it doesn't sound like a safe investment. That is completely different than canceling anything they had going on.
Okay.
Now, Rangers of the New Republic, that was canceled because there was a slotted show called Rangers of the New Republic, and they canceled it because of all the garbage that was going on.
Yeah.
This was just not renewed, and they were not going to continue the story. If that is for sure what's going on. And I'm going to throw it down to, I'm sure the rumors are probably true, that they're probably not going to, and we probably will never hear anything out of Disney about it, other than we might get an official announcement of a book. It's the episode, quote unquote, episode or season 2 of what would have been season 2 of the Acolyte, which would be great. Mm-hmm. I wish they would do that, but for now it's kind of in limbo. We really don't know for certain where it goes from here. Let's just say that.
Yeah. And that's all we have to say about that. On to the Jedi. Okay.
On to the Jedi. On to the Jedi. Okay.
So we talked about the code. And that is, as we said, something all Jedi should know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as the Path of a Jedi, there are several steps in, I think we're going to be saying Path of the Jedi quite a bit.
Path of the Jedi. So I mean, when you get selected as a Jedi, you become what they call an initiate,
right? Or a youngling,
or a youngling, as some people might call it. And technically, younglings could be Padawans too. So I mean, that's just a general term for young Jedi,
right?
So
when you are an initiate,
mm-hmm.
you are assigned to You can use the word family. You can use the word clan.
Mm-hmm.
A small group of other initiates
Mm-hmm.
that do everything together. Like, so here's the funny thing that I found about this process is like, so the Jedi like are kind of, they don't want you to have attachments,
Mm-hmm.
but yet as a youngling, they put you in with this group of people for years.
Mm-hmm.
So would you not get attached to them?
Nobody said it wasn't flawed. Nobody said the Jedi path wasn't flawed. I mean, because let's be honest. Let's be honest. You don't get, and see, that's something that I always found funny about the prequel.
Code.
Yeah, something I always found funny about the prequels is that it was always well understood that the Jedi, before they became initiates, they were discovered at a very young age. They were brought to the temple. They were tested, and then they were put into these clans. But the thing about it is Count Dooku was one that he actually knew what family he was from. He knew he came from wealth, and he still retained his title as Count.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't read a whole lot of background on Count Dooku. I'll be honest with you. I haven't read a whole lot of his background. I know some of it, but I always wondered how that was possible if they were stripped at a young age. If I don't want to say stripped because I think it's the wrong word. That's the one thing I didn't agree with the Acolyte is at first I didn't like the light that they were putting the Jedi in, saying that they were stripping kids from their families because because of their abilities and because they felt like they needed to be trained, otherwise they would go unchecked and uncontrolled. But as the Acolyte series went on, we found out that they actually don't condone interference with the family, and if the family doesn't want their children taken, then they don't have to give them up if they don't want to. And that was something I think was kind of established in the thing. But when they become initiates, and you're right, they get into clans. But what I understand and what I've read from in this book here, so I'll read off the clans real quick, because a lot of people I don't think understand how the clans in the Initiate series work. So there's the Bear Clan, the Dragon Clan, the Katarn Clan, and I'm going to butcher the next few, the Bergrufta Clan, the Squall Clan, and the Heliast, the Heliast Clan. And each clan had attributes and things that they had, what do I want to say? They had attributes that the kids displayed at an early age that would show a proclivity to one way or another, like knowledge or abilities or skill sets and different things. So they would put them in. They wouldn't put them in these clans like right away. They would put them in the clans a little bit later. Yeah, it's not like a sorting hat in Harry Potter. That's not how they did it. They identified traits in each one of the Padawans that they knew could be developed. So they put them in these clans with other people, other kids that were like-minded, that displayed the same type of traits. So, and I don't think we've seen a lot in literature about the clans and the interaction of the kids when they went into the clans and how they associated with each other as opposed to how they associated with each clan. I'm sure they trained together. I don't think they were separated, but they were just put into these specific areas because there may have been Master Jedi that could say, okay, well, I can develop this sort of skill set, so I'm going to go and I'm going to be head of this clan of initiates and that kind of thing. So, and you're right. I mean, they're not perfect. We know they're not perfect. They were never perfect. Obviously, if they were perfect, they wouldn't have fallen to the dark. They wouldn't have fallen to Palpatine, to one Sith Master. They would have never fallen to that if they had better planned their stuff out. But and like I said, I'm not saying the system wasn't flawed, but it definitely had its hypocritical sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit more about these clans.
Okay, so in here I'll read a little bit of information from this book for everybody. Okay, so if you're a part of the Bear Clan, let's see, non-enemy is too fearsome for you to no enemy is too fearsome for you to defeat. If you are of the Bear Clan, you are brave. If you are of the Dragon Clan, you are tenacious. If you are the Katarn Clan, you are stealthy. You draw the force around yourself with a cloak, taking footsteps in silence. If you are of the Bergrufta clan, you are loyal. Your heart will lead you forward when the way is dark. If you are the Squall clan, you are swift. Your treads keep you many steps ahead of your foes. And if you are the Helios clan, you hold great insight. Learn well with lessons, temple lore, keepers, no secrets will remain locked to you. So, I mean, to me, it almost screams like you're going to fall into one certain type of profession in the Jedi. You know what I mean? So if you're loyal, you may be a guardian, or if you were stealthy, you might be a sentinel, or if you were just kind of depend on, they tried to take those traits and they tried to expand upon them so that way you found your place in the order better as you started to become, as you started to get trained more, and as you become a Padawan, they could put you with the right master to develop those traits, to develop those skills, to develop whatever it is that you had the best of. I guess is what you were most proficient at.
Yeah. Okay. So when you are an initiate, you are taught the 3 pillars of a Jedi. Oh, wait a minute. Is that right?
Yep. 3 pillars of the Jedi.
3 pillars of the Jedi.
Yep.
So the first pillar is the Force.
Mm-hmm. Which we talked about in linked in one of our other previous shows. We talked about the Force.
We did.
Yep.
What are some specific things did you in your reading? Did you see that they teach about the Force? Like what are these Padawans specifically learning about the Force? Like just kind of in general.
Yeah, basically what I found out in the reading and through different medium and different things that I've seen in there is it's more of when they're that young, it's learning to understand, and they were taught to meditate to understand that power. They were taught to identify what it was, to identify what it could do for you, but how it could work against you. So they were taught at a very early age. In some generalistic ways, they were taught the difference between the light side and the dark side of the Force.
Yeah. So
and they were basically.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say they
basically
were taught the basics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They didn't quite get too deep into like communing with the Force, or as a Jedi would, as we discussed a few weeks ago, manipulating it, or
no, I think they were taught basic skills of manipulation, i.e., levitation.
Yeah.
A few other things, learning how to focus it, learning how to use it for different things, but things like learning to communicate with like the cosmic force, or seeing to the future, or psionic abilities, like being able to touch things and being able to understand what it can do. I think a lot of that stuff came later, simply because they didn't want to overwhelm them,
All right. And then the second pillar, they are taught, the second pillar is knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a bunch of stuff that they are taught in this one. I mean, this is basically like they take you to school. Mm-hmm. You're. I read through this stuff, but there's so much. They teach you about the galaxy. Mm-hmm. They teach you how to use the library at the Jedi Temple. There is, like right here, they talk about the bestiary. They talk to you about the different creatures mm-hmm. in the galaxy. Mm-hmm. So really, it sounds like it's a lot of schooling.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and no, you didn't get a summer break. No, you didn't get a spring break or fall break or none of that stuff. It was all the time, the whole cycle. You were learning. You were learning about everything you had to do with the universe, and things like piloting, and things like navigation, and things like the stars, and knowing the different planets and the different species and the different history of just the Jedi Order itself, and all this stuff was required reading. I mean, they needed to know a lot of things, and if they didn't know it, they needed to know how to look it up, which is where the Jedi library and learning how to use it and how to get the information you needed out of it was a very important.
Yeah,
was very important.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't want the Jedi to be dumb.
Well, and
not knowledgeable.
It made sense because by the time, and we'll talk about it probably after this, which is becoming a Padawan. By the time you become a Padawan, you're going out on a one-on-one mission with your master, someone who has chosen you, and you are expected to not only follow your master's lead, but you're also expected in some cases to make your own decisions and be able to do your own things. So, and you know, just basically make decisions in the moment. And not having knowledge or not knowing something about where you're going or what's going on or some conflict or some history of the place that you're going to do negotiations at or some war that happened in the past that caused two different species of people to be at war with one another. You had to know these things.
Yeah.
You had to be familiar with those past. And if you didn't, you had to look it up and research it so that way you could be an effective negotiator. You could effectively how do I want to say this? Negotiate peace terms, I guess, for lack of a better word. Negotiate peace terms. And that is a knight. And that as a knight or even a master was hard. And for the Padawans, they had to really learn that stuff because, like I said, when they went out on their own, it was you're going to interact with these people just as much as your master is. Yeah. You know, and even if not, your master is going to expect you to take some of the lead so that way you can learn this stuff so that you can succeed him when it comes time. So at a very early age as initiates and things like that, it was all about knowledge as being one of the pillars. So not only being able to use the Force and understand the Force amongst things, but it was also good to know. It was also the knowledge of knowing where you were going and what you were doing and what your task was and why you were there.
Yeah. So they definitely want you to be knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third pillar is self-discipline. So this is kind of where they get into more of the stuff that you are going to carry on with you as a Padawan. This is where you learn how to meditate and how you, to a certain extent, learn to attune yourself with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially get ready to take the next step, which the next step after all of this.
Well, actually, part of the self-discipline part of it is some of my favorite stuff.
Oh, the lightsaber combat.
Part of self-discipline.
So why don't you describe some of the lightsaber combat that they...
So for any of you who don't know, and I don't know if we'll discuss that today or we'll probably discuss that next week. I'm hoping we'll discuss that next week. So for those of you who don't understand or don't know,
we'll do combat next week.
Combat and force powers.
There we go. Combat and force powers.
Combat and force powers, and then we can wrap it up with like force ghosts and stuff like that. So you come back next week, and we'll.
That's it.
No, come on. That could be the end of it. Then that'll be how we end it. We'll end it with the spirit. We'll end it with transitioning into the Force. So it'll be great. It'll be fun. It'll be great. That's right. 3 and done. That's it. And we'll end it with Force Ghosts on the third episode. That's 3.
No, we did.
The Force doesn't count.
This one is 2.
The Force doesn't count. This is 2. Remember, we do a third one. We do a third one. Lightsabers, combat, and then
of the Jedi. Today we're doing the Path of the Jedi.
And we'll do a third one.
And the third one.
Lightsaber combat forms, force powers, and then at the end, the force powers, the last thing we talk about is the transitioning of Jedi into the Force and becoming a blue guy.
And then we can talk about
the Sith.
Transitioning into the real power of the Force, the Sith.
Anyway, so for those of you who don't know, there are 7 lightsaber combat forms. And each Jedi.
Maybe we will wait until next week to get into those.
Well, but we have to talk about them in order to get to the next part of what happens at the end of being an initiate.
Okay.
So at the end of being an initiate, you get introduced to a lightsaber. And as being introduced to a lightsaber, you have to understand, at least once you get your lightsaber, you have to understand at least the basic form Form 1 of the 7 forms. So Form 1 in and of itself is the basic form of lightsaber combat that is taught to Jedi initiates.
Right.
Yeah. So, so basically you start out with that. You start out with basic, like each, and I can get into more of the forms when we get into next week, but one is basic lightsaber combat, basic lightsaber swinging, and defensive and offensive moves using, and I think Form 1 for the most part, if I remember correctly, Form 1 is basically defensive moves and posture and just basic lightsaber stances and things like that. And this is where initiates are taught. They're not even Padawans yet, and they get their lightsabers. And I think they addressed this in one of the Clone Wars episodes. They actually went to a cave and they selected their crystals. They were able to get their crystals, and they were able to make their own lightsabers as initiates. So you get your lightsabers, and then you learn you've probably already learned your forms by that time, because they actually give you like training sticks that you use beforehand. You learn your forms, and then when it comes time, you go into the cave, you select you find the crystal that speaks to you, and this is the way it was described in Clone Wars episode. And then that's the crystal that you get, and then you assemble your lightsaber out of it. And who's the robot? What was the robot for the guy from Ahsoka? Yeah, Kwong. He was the one who was the lightsaber historian who assisted you in getting your crystal and allowing you and helping you to assemble it so it was unique to you. And he knew every Jedi lightsaber for like 2,000 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, even in I almost said Phantom Menace, but it's actually Attack of the Clones. You see Obi-Wan walking in on a training session between Yoda and
the younglings.
And a bunch of younglings playing around with her. So, yeah, even at this young age, they're learning how to control those sabers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's basic initiate skills that they're taught is Form 1. They get their lightsaber. You know, they're taught meditation. They're put into their clans that kind of accent their kind of a specific skill set or something that they might be a little bit more attuned to, or some area that some attribute that they excel in more than others, if you will.
So before they move on to the next step, they have to take part in some tests called the initiate trials.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to pass these in order to be chosen as a Padawan. Oh man, where did my notes go?
So you must understand. You must demonstrate your knowledge of and understanding of the Jedi Code.
Yeah,
I've got this marked. You must also demonstrate self-discipline through meditation and lightsaber combat. And you must prove that the Force flows through you and that you are not rocks. What is it? How's this? What is it? You are not a rock stubbornly blocking its current. So basically, you're not stiff. So, and basically what that does is if you think about it, it demonstrates that you understand the 3 pillars of the Jedi, and that you have the basic skills in order to understand those, that you can do them, you can demonstrate them, and you're ready to move on. You're proficient in them, and you're ready to move on to the next step, which is Padawan.
Which is what we will talk about next.
Yeah.
Your next step in the path of being a Jedi is a Padawan. As a Padawan, you are no longer part of a clan. This is where you are assigned one-on-one instruction with a Jedi Master. So what sort of things do you learn as a Padawan?
So the interesting thing about the Padawans is that is that much like the clans, they try to how do I want to say this? They try to fit you with a master that they think will accelerate or what's the word I'm looking for here? That will have a better understanding of your abilities and where you are at the time. Because even as an initiate, before you become a Padawan, you demonstrate and you go through the initiate trials, but you still have an individuality of what you're good at and what you can do and what where you kind of are and where they think you would fit best. And what they tried to do with the Padawan master combination was they tried to put Padawans with masters that would complement, there's the word I'm looking for, that would complement the already present abilities of the Padawan. And so they would have masters come in and they would have knights come in who were wanting to select a Padawan to train. They would have them look at them, watch them demonstrate their abilities. They would watch them through the trials. And they would say, I think I can train this individual on the things that they would need to become a proper Jedi Knight. And they would try to fit Padawans with knights in masters and things like that they think would be the best fit for their training.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout that part, it's a much more field training program where the masters would work directly with the Padawans, and the masters would pass down the information that they learned, but they would also go to the temple and they would do things at the temple as well.
So, as a Padawan, for those of you out there, any of you that are familiar with how guilds or in modern times a union works, I would liken a Padawan to an apprentice.
Yeah, basically. I mean,
basically, this is you're still learning. There's still stuff that your master is going to quote unquote teach you, but there's also a lot of on the job training.
Which is why when you're an initiate, knowing where you're going, what you're doing, having a base knowledge of the universe, having an understanding of the people, the places, the species, things like that was so important. And it was so important for you to know those things because you would go on one-on-one missions with your master and your master would teach you different things. You would also still do training at the temple.
Yeah. Because
once you started to go out and you started to do things, you would go back in and when you weren't on mission, you would go to the temple and you would train, or you would train in like different forms or different aspects of the Jedi Order and things like that.
Correct.
Yeah. So, and it was all, and a lot of it, the thing about it too is that a lot of it was all, a lot of your training was, like you said, it was field training. It was all done in the field. Your master would correct you on things or would teach you things or have different things. But the training was always supposed to be structured. Now, when you become Padawans, obviously in the movies, we've seen things where things kind of skew a little bit. And the first example I can think of is Anakin and Ahsoka. Anakin actually didn't choose Ahsoka. The council chose Ahsoka for Anakin because they felt like it would help him grow and develop. So they chose Ahsoka for him because she displayed some of the same traits and personality that he did, and they thought that she would be a perfect fit for Anakin. And then go ahead.
I was going to say, so it was as much for him as it was for her.
Yes. Yeah, because they felt like that him being able to teach someone, it's kind of like, I mean, on a personal level, I kind of hearken it to something like when you're a single guy and then you have a kid. So like for me, when I was a single guy and then I had my daughter, it changed my perspective on life. It changed how I approached life. It changed how I did things. It changed my priorities in life because when I had a kid, I felt like it was my job to take care of and teach and educate and be a part of her life and things like that. And it changed my whole perspective as a dad. It changed who I was. I went from being that single guy to being a responsible, trying to be a parent at that point. Mm-hmm. And I think for Jedi, since they don't have kids, they don't have relationships like that, that's basically the same experience. Now they were responsible for educating someone and passing along their knowledge. And like Yoda says in The Last Jedi, you know, your triumphs, your tribulations, everything that you went through is just as important, but your failures are just as important. So teaching the Padawans not only what you've achieved, but also what you failed at, so they become better versions of us. They become better versions of their teachers. So that's where the phrase "we are what they grow beyond" came from, because I think that's something that Yoda taught. You never heard it before The Last Jedi, but I think that's something Yoda tried to teach when he was an instructor and when he was part of the Jedi High Council and part of the Old Republic and the High Republic eras and all that kind of stuff. That was what his thing was making sure that his Padawans were better than, you know, we're more knowledgeable and better prepared and better equipped than what he was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's basically where you get that phrase from. But that was the whole point of the Padawan. The Padawan program was to be able to bring them into a master and have a field training opportunity that allowed them to get more one-on-one training and allow the master to influence how that Padawan went from there. Well, that's why it was so important to find a master that complemented what that Padawan, the traits and attributes that Padawan displayed.
Yeah. And so after your training as a Padawan, that all culminates into taking what they call the trials, which are courage. There's 5: skill, courage, spirit. What am I missing? Skill, courage, spirit, flesh, and insight. So, trial skill is pretty much what it sounds like. You show off your skill. You know that you're capable of going out there practically on your own. Courage and spirit, those two I get mixed up. Did you make notes for that?
No, I didn't. The trials.
Great.
The thing about the trials. The weird thing about the trials is I think they've been discussed in a few books and different things, but there was like not a whole lot of. There wasn't a. It was kind of inconsistent. The stuff that I did was inconsistent, because I did like initiates, and I wanted to talk about initiates because I knew a lot of people didn't know about the clans as initiates. When you were a Padawan or when you were a Jedi initiate, you actually became part of the clan. Okay. The Padawan thing, and people have described the trials. People have said something about the trials, but I don't think I don't remember the specifics. And
here's direct from this book here. I'm gonna read it verbatim. So, trial skill demonstrates a Jedi's competence with a lightsaber and the Force principles of control. Trial of courage establishes a Jedi's skill and fortitude in the face of danger and overwhelming odds. Okay. Trial of spirit tests a Jedi's ability to vanquish inner battles and emerge unscathed. Trial of the flesh determines a Jedi's capacity to overcome great pain. That one I actually do remember. And trial of insight reveals a Jedi's aptitude for distinguishing reality from illusion. I'm not like, we've never actually, have we ever actually seen this done in real time?
No, I don't think we have. As far as I know, any medium that I've seen, I don't think we've actually seen a demonstration of the Jedi trials in person.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to say this: if you've never watched it, you could, and it's a fun little show. It's not anything that shows the Jedi trials or anything in their entirety or anything like that. But there was a TV show, and it kind of ties into The Mandalorian Grogu, season 3. But there was a show that Ahmed Best did as Kelleron Beck,
Oh,
and it was called the Jedi Trials, or what was it
yeah.
called? Yeah, it was
Like
called.
it's
It was
like a game show.
It was a game show kind of thing where they actually put these kids into it, and it was a test. They had a test of working together, and they had to work together as a team to accomplish a task, and then they had to work as a team for memory and knowledge. And then the last one they did, where the last two people competed, it was a time trial that incorporated everything. And they called it and when they were done, if they were successful, they ended up winning, and they pulled lightsabers and Yoda. It was a cool little thing for kids. It was on Disney Kids. Neat little show. And Ahmed Best he played the Jedi Master in it, which was really neat. And then they actually made his character part of the canon in Mandalorian and in the Mandalorian season 3, where he's the one that rescued Grogu, and had an awesome badass scene in that show where he defended and was able to deflect and take out a bunch of clones by deflecting lightsaber bolts with 2 lightsabers in his hand. It was an excellent part of the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you haven't got a chance to watch it, yes, it's a kids like contestant game show kind of thing, but it was interesting. It was a fun little something to watch.
Yeah, it was
and the fact that Ahmed Best got to come back and he got to be a Jedi, and then they put that Jedi in his canon, I thought it was fantastic. It was great. It was a great little segue between the two shows. I thought it was awesome.
So yeah.
So
but that wasn't the real trials. But
that wasn't the real trials, no.
Yeah. But so the trial, I mean, basically you had to pass the trials. Otherwise, you do not go on to become a knight. Unless,
of course.
Well,
there were exceptions. There were exceptions.
There were exceptions because Anakin never went through a formal trial period.
And neither did Obi-Wan.
That's right.
They awarded him the rank of Jedi Knight because he fought and defeated a Sith Lord.
Right.
So it was automatically given to him.
Yeah. Yes. And then what was the reason Anakin didn't have to do it?
I don't think it was because it might have been. It wasn't because he fought Dooku. It might have been. I'm not sure. Because I know by episode 3 he was already a knight.
Yeah,
but I don't think he took the trials. But I can't remember. I want to say it was because he fought and survived against Dooku, but I can't remember if that was the official explanation.
Yeah, I don't remember. Point being, we had these trials, but there were, as we said, exceptions.
Not everybody. which I don't remember where I read it, but I read somewhere that they said that the reason they said one of the things is that if you had fought and defeated, like if you had to fight a Sith Lord or something like that, you were automatically passed out of the trials, and if you fought and defeated one, or if you fought and defeated someone who was force sensitive or part of the dark side, you automatically advanced to knight if you were a Padawan. Or there was a couple other things that got you past the trials that you didn't have to take the trials. I can't remember.
I mean, there's probably a lot of exceptions that they don't discuss. I mean, anytime you're like put in grave danger and get through that unscathed. I don't know. So
it says here, the book Brotherhood, after Anakin had completed his trials almost a year after the Battle of Geonosis in 22 BBY.
So maybe he did do them.
So he did go through the trials.
Okay.
So I guess, and they said that is in the book Brotherhood.
Okay, I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah, I have not either.
So once you pass those, you become you become a knight.
A Jedi Knight.
And as a Jedi Knight, basically you can do stuff on your own. You can,
well, technically, you were assigned missions by the Jedi Council on your own.
Right.
Yes.
And in
Oh,
some
wait a minute.
cases,
Wait.
you can be assigned your own Padawan. In fact, you cannot become a master until, if I'm right, I think I remember reading that you cannot become a master until you have trained a Padawan to knighthood. Does that sound right?
What was that?
Squirrel. No. I was saying, I think I was reading somewhere that you cannot become a master until you have raised a Padawan to knighthood.
Correct.
Or trained.
Correct. You are not, yes, you are not considered, you did not reach the rank of master until you successfully trained and graduated a Padawan to Jedi Knight.
Which is why Anakin did not be a master.
Which is why Anakin was not in the master. And that was apparent in the Clone Wars because Ahsoka never became a full-fledged Jedi Knight. She left the Order before she had a chance to. So he was not awarded the rank of master, even though he sat on the council. He was not awarded the rank of master because he did not finish his requirements to be a master. And that was the requirement. There was no skip over and go to the next step. It was you had to graduate a Padawan into knighthood before you become a master.
So I thought that we could briefly talk about some of the roles as a Jedi Knight. There were three specifically. One of them was. See, I read these last week.
There was to say three. That's a I mean, if you go by the Legends canon, to say there was three, there was actually a lot more. There were three main ones.
The three main ones were Guardian, Sentinel, and Consular.
Yeah.
Now Consular, I see a lot of this is mixed up because I didn't reread this like recently.
Well, and it's so weird because
Counselor is like different. I don't understand the difference between Guardian and Sentinel.
Okay, so Sentinels. Okay, so a Jedi Guardian was, if I remember correctly, now somebody don't hate me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure a Jedi Guardian's lightsabers were mostly green, and the Jedi Guardians were more how it sounds. They were protectors. They pulled guard duty. They pulled they were more defenders of the peace and things like that, where consulars were more like negotiators, and they handled more of the political forefront. Yeah. So so a counselor was more
heroics to standing around. Becoming a Jedi Guardian may be the path for you. First line of defense. Okay, first line of defense. Okay, so peacekeepers.
I got it wrong. Okay,
here we go.
I got it backwards. Guardians were blue, counselors were green.
Peacekeepers, temple security, Jedi starfighters, lightsaber instructors. Very cool. And then the counselors were kind of the scholastic, diplomatic types.
Mm-hmm. But Sentinels were also ones that were kind of in the shadows. They were the ones that kind of sat back and did like recon and did missions onto planets they didn't know a lot about and A lot of them were ones that they kind of went on their own path and they went out into the far reaches.
Tech experts, security experts, Jedi shadows. So, okay, let's.
Yeah, I had it backwards. Guardians were blue because there was actually a correlation between what your lightsaber color was and what you did.
Okay.
And the primary colors were blue, green, and yellow. And the blue were the Guardians, the counselors were the green, and then the Sentinels were yellow.
Okay, so if
but that's also not always true, because if you look at current canon, it's a little different. I mean, it doesn't seem like there is as much, they don't put as much emphasis on the color of the blade that you use. It's not as big of a deal.
So would you say that, okay, so the like Yoda, would he be likened more to a counselor?
Yeah, that's why his was green.
Or
he would be more of a counselor.
Or would he be a guardian because he's an instructor?
I think what he was before he was an instructor would have been more counselor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so then what about like Mace Windu? Because his lightsaber was
no, okay. See, that's where the exceptions come in, because he got the purple lightsaber.
Yeah.
So, and there was actually because see, okay, so when we get into forms next week, it'll become more apparent. But his whole situation with his purple lightsaber was different. It was just, that was a behind the scenes movie thing that they did, because it's Samuel L. Jackson, and Samuel L. Jackson is a bad mother trucker. So he got to pick his own lightsaber color.
So I think
they actually did introduce canon for a purple lightsaber, but I forgot a lot about it. It was more of a the purple lightsaber guys were more of like, I think, enforcers.
I think when the Clone Wars came about, it skewed a lot of these or mixed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it skewed a lot of them. A lot of them they lost, and it's been. These are the suggested roles, but what they actually did and where it came into play actually got real. Yeah, the lines got blurred a lot.
Well, so during the Clone Wars, there was one that was clearly a counselor, and never kind of swayed from that, and that would have been Jocasta.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was consular through and through.
Yeah. Well, and then like Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn was counselor through and through.
Was he?
Yeah. He was green lightsaber. Because he was more about the living force. He was more about helping people. He was more about, teaching people and using the force in his education and his wisdom rather than using. I mean, you even seen that in the new book, The Living Force. He was more about not using the lightsaber. He was more about trying to negotiate his way out of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm trying to think of any other characters that were like very clearly one type. And I'm talking canon. I'm talking canon, because if you get into Legends, there are a lot of clear-cut examples.
Yeah. Current canon, like what you would identify in movies and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, Obi-Wan was a guardian. I mean, there's no question about it. He was a guardian.
Okay, well, let's go into let's talk a bit about the Acolyte then.
Okay.
What would you say? I would say Vanestra was probably a counselor.
If I'm to be honest, I think Vanestra should have had a freaking orange lightsaber.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm to be honest with you, I think hers would have been orange, because she was like right on the fringe.
Yeah.
Or like a dark yellow.
Okay.
I don't know.
I would.
She's a weird one, because she was.
Yeah, that one's. I don't know.
Vanestra. I think she probably. Well, I mean, her lightsaber was like a purple tint, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It had like a purple tint to it.
Okay. What about Saul? What about Saul?
I think Soul was green. Or
You think he was a counselor?
no, he was blue. His was a guardian. I think he should have been green. I think he should have been green. Because I think he didn't want to be aggressive. I think he was kind of pushed into that situation.
Yeah.
So I don't think he really wanted to be. The only thing that I would say would be a disagreement on that point was Soul handing Osha the lightsaber to coax her into being a Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because the Jedi, the lightsaber has always been listed as a Jedi's last resort, not a first defense.
Yeah.
And so handing her a lightsaber, say, "Oh, look, you get to play with a lightsaber if you become a Jedi." I kind of went, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. You want to be like, yes.
Hey,
okay,
you get to play with this flashy sword.
What about Indara?
Blue. She should have been blue. I think she should have been blue. But we also don't know a lot about...
Her lightsaber was green.
Her lightsaber was green, but I think it should have been blue.
See, a lot of this is you're getting into this whole blue, yellow, green thing. I don't think I don't think a lot of that matches.
Well, and that's the thing, is it's real. Most of this is just speculative Legends information.
Right, that's true.
And a lot, and as you and I have said, it blurred. The lines have been very blurred as far as the lines are very blurred as far as what lightsaber color meant to each person.
Smirking Bear says, "Yes, let's hand this 10-year-old this extremely dangerous, fully functional lightsaber for her to play with."
Yeah, that made no sense to me whatsoever. I didn't understand that, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me either.
Yeah, the lines. You're right. The lines are very blurred. I brought up Acolyte because I was thinking that's like the closest thing live action that we're going to get to before everything got mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, mixed up.
And you never know. I mean, depending on where the James Mangold movie goes, what lore they explore, and if they decide to do an Origins of the Jedi, and they say, okay, now we're going to do the Old Republic, a time period during the Old Republic or the Revan movie, some of these things might become more prevalent. But really honestly, the lines are so blurred. This is basically our information is just. That's the guideline, but we don't know if that's actually where they fit.
Yeah. So
because I would not have, and the information that I've read, Luke Skywalker is the best example. Luke Skywalker would not have been a green lightsaber had he gone through the trials and he had been trained properly as a Jedi. He would have been 100% a blue because he was more aggressive. He was more of a warrior. He was more headstrong. He was more like Anakin, like his father. He would have been blue. But they said literally in the show notes when they were talking about when they came up with Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker, they wanted his lightsaber to be green because they already had a blue one in the first two movies. So they wanted a green one.
Yeah. So in the Path of a Jedi, the last one basically is going to be your Jedi Master.
And then subsequently your Grandmaster, which came later.
Yeah. You can get there too. But like we said earlier, you can't be a master unless you have trained a Padawan to knighthood. Mm-hmm.
Or in Yoda's case, several of them.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Yoda was clearly a master.
Yeah, which is where you get like Grandmaster from.
Yeah. So, which brings up an interesting question. Was the Grandmaster, was that like a title that several masters?
No, I don't think there was many that were called Grandmaster.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there were several that could be called that at a time, or if there was only ever one at a time.
Yeah, and I can't think of anybody outside of Yoda who was given the rank of Grandmaster.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of anybody from that time period. Because I don't think
here's a little information off Wikipedia. A grandmaster or grandmaster was a title bestowed on the oldest and wisest member of the Jedi Order, whereas the Master of the Order served as leader of the overall order, and Grandmaster was the head of the Jedi High Council, the Jedi's highest governing body. So yes, effectively there would be only one.
There would be only one. So basically,
Yeah.
he was like, for lack of a better way to say it, he would basically be the leader of the Jedi.
Yeah, basically.
Well, and that's why I say lack of a better term.
Yeah, he was basically made the highest member of the High Council, basically kind of like a what do you want to say? Not necessarily the leader, but he was made the
elder.
He was basically named as the elder.
Yeah.
And Master Yoda was definitely that guy.
Jamie Lee just jumped in the chat. How you doing there, Jamie?
Hey, Shark.
Now that we're closing things up here.
Yeah.
So that was, just real brief, our discussion on the Path of a Jedi. And we'll be talking Jedi again next week because we just had to. So we're going to be, but this is the last one.
Dang it!
Go into the fun stuff.
Dang it! It's not fair. Come on, man.
No.
Could go on for days.
We'll talk about, essentially next week we're going to be talking about the powers of a Jedi, which include lightsaber combat.
Lightsaber forms, different powers of the Jedi, and then we will close it out with Force Ghosts.
Force Ghosts. Anyway.
Never speak ill of the blue guys.
Okay. So yeah.
And then Tina says we go into the sexy
That
Sith.
is right.
Yes.
We go into
yes, we will go into the Sith.
Heck yeah, we're going into the Sith. Yeah.
Not Palpatine isn't.
The Sith.
Not Palpatine isn't sexy. Tina says.
Oh, come on now. You don't know what he looked like when he was a young guy. Dark side did stuff to him. Okay. So again, next week, Powers of the Jedi, and
pops open a Sith-oriented stripper bar.
Oh boy.
Woohoo!
I got a feeling the Sith discussion is going to get real fun. Anyway,
can anybody say Darth Talon?
Darth Nihilus. Yeah, we haven't even planned out that section.
Yeah, we haven't got that yet. We have to get that planned out.
That one's got to be planned out.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight to enjoy our discussion about the Path of a Jedi. And that's why.
To be creep and paid for it.
To creep and be paid for it. Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you next week. So until then, may the Force be with you.